Imagine staring at a piece of paper. On it is a mathematical problem, topology, real analysis, complex analysis. You know the exact formula to solve it. The answer is right there, crystal clear in your mind. But there is a catch. Your hands cannot hold a pen. Your fingers cannot move. If you want to pass this exam, you have to transfer the complex, multi-layered equations from your brain onto that paper using nothing but your voice and memory. Hey there, Raghu here, a certified memory coach. Welcome to my podcast. The topic of today's episode is the Scribe Protocol. Having survived a severe spinal cord injury, I learned our true power is in the mind. Now, I am on a mission to help students and competitive exam aspirants stop struggling with rote learning and tap into the infinite potential of their brains using proven memory techniques. Let me take you back to my final exams for my B.Sc in mathematics. I was paralyzed from the shoulders down. To take my exams, the university assigned me a scribe. Now, a scribe isn't a professor. A scribe is a junior student. They don't know the answers. In fact, for subjects like advanced topology, real analysis, and complex analysis, my scribe barely understood the mathematical language I was speaking. They were simply a pair of hands. I had to be the brain. For 3 hours, I sat in that exam hall. I had to visualize massive, complex equations entirely in my head. I couldn't just say, solve for x. I had to dictate every single bracket, every integral, every subtle shift in the formula. Open bracket, integral from 0 to infinity, alpha over beta, close bracket. And if I lost my train of thought for even a second, the equation on the paper would collapse. I couldn't simply look down and reread what I had just written because I couldn't lean over the desk. I had to hold the entire architecture of the answer in my mind while I spoke out loud. Well, when the results came out, I hadn't just passed. I achieved my highest GPA ever. Friends, why am I telling you this? Because right now, sitting at your desk preparing for your exams, you are doing the exact opposite of what I did in that exam hall. You are engaging in the most dangerous habit a student can have. You know the feeling. You sit down with your heavy syllabus, you highlight a few lines, you read 50 pages of history or law or science, you feel productive because your eyes moved across the words for 3 hours. But then, you close the book, and if someone asks you to explain what you just read, you freeze, right? Out of 50 pages, you can barely recall 5. You hadn't studied. You have just experienced the illusion of competence. When the information is right there on the paper, your brain says, oh yes, I recognize this. But recognition is not recall, my friend. When I was in that exam hall, I didn't have the luxury of recognition. I couldn't passively look at a textbook. I had to actively pull the information from the dark depths of my memory and force it into the real world through my voice. If you cannot dictate or explain a concept clearly from start to finish without looking at your notes, you do not know it. This is how you stop reading and start retaining. From today onward, I want you to study as if you have a junior scribe sitting next to you, someone who knows absolutely nothing about your syllabus. Here is how you execute the protocol in 3 steps. Let me explain. Step 1. Read your chapter. Highlight what you need. Absorb the data. But limit this to not more than 45 minutes. Do not read for hours. Your brain has a saturation point. Step 2. Close the book. Turn the notes face down. Step away from the desk. You must remove the visual safety net. And step 3. Stand up and speak out loud. Do not just think about the answer in your head, because the mind will skip over the parts it doesn't know. Speak it out loud. Explain the concept, dictate the formula, or narrate the historical events to an invisible person in the room. When you speak out loud, your brain is forced to organize the data chronologically. It forces you to find the missing links. Are you getting it? If you start stuttering or if you lose your train of thought, boom, you have just identified your weak spot. So, the Scribe Protocol isn't just a study hack. It is a fundamental shift in how you treat your own intellect. When you sit passively and just let your eyes scan a page, you are a consumer. But when you close the book and force yourself to dictate the knowledge, explain the knowledge out loud, you become a creator. You build the mental architecture that survives the extreme pressure of the exam hall. Friends, I passed my toughest university exams without ever picking up a pen, because true knowledge doesn't live in your fingers. It lives above the neck. So the next time you sit down to study, don't just read. Dictate, explain, command the information. I am Raghurama Bhatt, a certified memory coach. If you found this episode useful, please subscribe to the show. I'll be bringing you much more content like this straight from the heart, with real value that will inspire you to unlock your mind and take action. Friends, keep pushing your limits, and I will catch you up in the next episode. Thank you. Bye-bye.